Each month, Amazon hosts numerous events throughout China to help recruit new factories and other sellers to sell on Amazon. Let me give you a quick overview of what one of these events looks like from the inside.
So Amazon is constantly trying to recruit new Chinese factories to its army of already millions of Chinese sellers. And conferences like the one I'm showing you here are held all throughout China and all throughout the year. They are one of Amazon's most powerful recruitment tools to get thousands of new factories a year to sell on Amazon and hopefully sell on Amazon instead of Chinese sites like Temu. The conference itself was pretty small. There were maybe 200 or 300 people, and it went on from about 11 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. Trade Hall had different services for everything you needed to run your Amazon business, from listing optimization to LLC registration in America. And of course, like anything in China, the fees for these services were absolutely dirt cheap. We're talking a fraction of the cost of what you would pay even the cheapest guy from Upwork. So why does Amazon hold these events? Well, it's to recruit more Chinese sellers, especially Chinese factories, which I'll talk about in a minute. So as you may or may not know, Chinese sellers make up anywhere from 60 to 70% of all third-party sellers on Amazon. Chinese sellers are the engine behind Amazon's growth, and they want more of them. Unless you're an extremely well-known American brand, Amazon doesn't really want more sellers from New York and San Francisco. It wants more sellers from Ningbo and Shenzhen.
So the events really are a collection of different Amazon services, a lot of logistics services, and a few factories as well who are trying to sell their products. Also, there are some Amazon blogs here as well, like the one behind me. And of course, the Amazon Global selling team, which is also the booth right over here.
Like all Amazon events I've attended in China, this event showed just how much better service Chinese sellers get than Western sellers. So first, the conference is free to attend, unlike almost all other North American events, which you have to pay to attend. Second, there's numerous events like this going on all the time in China, unlike in the West, where we might get 1 or 2 events a year. And third, once you register, you get put in a custom WeChat group with a bunch of other sellers, and most importantly, Amazon reps. So if you run into any problems, no problem. Send a WeChat message and a dedicated China-based employee will help you through. None of this is going through a vicious cycle of Seller Central loops like we have to go through in the West.
我赢了吗？可以的，有2个法，对。然后这边关掉了。好。
So the event was held at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Xiamen, which is a relatively small city by Chinese standards, but still an up-and-coming city with a lot of Chinese factories, which is why Amazon was here. Now, Xiamen is one of the major cities in Fujian province, which is a major hub for Chinese factories. So Xiamen, most people have never heard of, but in terms of Fujian province, it's one of the bigger cities. And which is really why Amazon comes to events like this. It's not trying to get the digital marketers anymore, which maybe it was trying to do in the past. Now it's really trying to get Chinese factories to come and sell on Amazon. And that was one of the main things of this conference, was trying to attract Chinese factories and giving them the pitch that they could really expand their business overseas through Amazon. And the big pitch with any of these Amazon events in China is that you can get an account manager to manage your factory, to get on the Amazon platform and really build their brand. And that was one of the other main features of this conference, was that Amazon was really trying to emphasize to these factories that they could build a brand, not just sell products. And so that might sound familiar to a lot of the Westerners listening. It's all about brand, brand, brand.
So the conference talks were really aimed at getting these factories to list their first products on Amazon. A lot of the talk was about what products worked well with North Americans, things like deep fryers and Ozempic. There was also a bunch of talk on how to send your first products into Amazon with Amazon Logistics, and of course, according to Amazon, it's all extremely easy. Surprisingly, there was not a lot of time, though, spent on discussing the importance of classifying your items correctly with the right HS codes to make sure that they were paying the correct amount of duty when importing into America. And like mentioned, Amazon was iterating over and over again that these factories can build their brands on Amazon, not just sell stuff. Probably this was to contrast themselves with sites like Temu, which really are just about selling low priced products. Yeah, these factories in China care about brand now and not just about low prices. Don't believe me? Well, go check out Amazon native brands like Anchor or WorkPro.
型合伙人任朝夕，欢迎。亚马逊利己卖家宝纯跨境 CEO 美国队长，欢迎。增量科技
So if
原合
Amazon
创始
is
人增量。
really trying to heavily recruit these factories, this is extremely bad news for Western sellers. You see, traditionally, us as Western sellers have been competing against, for the most part, Chinese digital marketers. And in theory, at least, we should be able to get more or less the same prices from Chinese factories as a Chinese digital marketer. However, competing against factories is a whole different story. Chinese factories will always have the lowest prices, and once they start selling aggressively on Amazon, we really have no hope in ever being able to be price competitive against these Chinese factories. So, what is the solution? Well, demonizing China and Chinese sellers is not the solution. Yeah, they do some black hat tactics, but you know what? I know a lot of Western sellers who do things like search, find, buy, and also get reviews through questionable tactics. Ultimately, Chinese sellers are just trying to make a buck like you and I. Even demonizing Amazon really isn't the solution. Yeah, I like to rip on Amazon as much as the next seller, and much of that is deserved. But the truth is, every time that Amazon misses earnings by a fraction of a penny, their shareholders are up in arms and their stock price tanks. Amazon shareholders are demanding that they get the lowest prices so they can be as price competitive as possible. No, the only real solution is for you to like and subscribe to this channel. I have a goal to get this channel to 7,000 subs by the end of winter, and only your subscription can help. But seriously, let's talk about a real solution. Really, the only hope probably is to be extremely innovative with our products and our businesses. When I first started selling on eBay and my own website over 15 years ago, finding products from factories in China and importing them into America was hard and expensive. I had to drop items off at a post office. I had to answer telephone phone calls, God forbid, and I had to spend countless hours tweaking my website. Now Amazon makes all of that stuff easy and cheap. As Jeff Bezos himself once said, your margin is my opportunity. When business starts to become too easy, that's probably when we've become too comfortable, and that's when we start to blame other companies, other people, and other countries for our complacency. Before China, there was Eastern Europe to blame for competing unfairly. Before Amazon, there was Walmart to blame for killing retail. Ultimately, this visit to this Amazon conference in China showed me just how many people and companies are out there willing to work hard and steal my piece of the pie. It's not a China thing, it's not a big tech thing, it's a business thing. It also reminded me to never give my real email or WeChat ID out.
So unfortunately, my time was pretty
show.
short at the conference, and I had to catch a cab right now.